I was born in this country, and very interesting that my life has brought me full circle back here. It definitely wasn't in my plans. Um, I was born in the Canal Zone, so it's a part of Panama that doesn't even exist anymore. It's when the United States occupied this country. And my parents were somewhat governmental, and that was the connection there. We left when I was 1 year old, and we went to the United States. And as far as I knew, I'm a gringo American, and I don't really have a connection with my land. So, the typical life in the States, lots of years of wild parties and everything, until I hit the brick wall that probably everybody knows, and that wake up call where I can't go further anymore in this life that I'm living. And it actually was a head-on collision for me, and I almost, took myself out and many other people. But that was it. And in that accident, one life ended and another one began. And I was a year and a half, in recovery to walk again, and a lot of time just to get humble and value myself and this life. And that's when things started to come to me. I can say, at 20 years old, that's when things started to come to me, the same way that I recognize they're coming now. This life was seeded and began there. So I did many years of trainings with different teachers. I lived in a Taoist temple for a couple years, and I thought that was the rest of my life. I have a strong affinity with the Buddha and the things from the East, and it would have seemed like my whole life could have been complete in that experience. It was amazing. I learned a lot and recovered a lot of myself from ancient times. But that was over in a moment, and something else began. And to kind of fast forward and fill in gaps, I had a strong call from the mother, the Mother Earth, the cosmic mother. The mother is the supreme God, creatress, whatever you like to call it. It is that sense of the all coming through a compassionate, loving, intelligent, and fierce kind of a mother. So that began my training, which was in 2004. It was actually 444, April 4th, 2004, that I was initiated on a mountain in North Carolina. I did most of my training in Asheville. That is just an amazing vortex and place of power in the United States, especially on the East Coast. And for some reason, something in me was able to hang on through a very intense and rigorous kind of training, because my teacher is hard knock school, straight out of the Andes and a master of many things, but he certainly doesn't provide an easy passage. You got to work for it, and you got to have a lot of heart. There were a lot of brothers and sisters who I loved and considered I would be walking with the rest of my life, that was on this journey, that they didn't make it, like they get caught in their own stuff. So, after many years of that amazing training, which happened in the US, it was almost as if we had an ancient, yogic, shamanic training, something that would happen in the Himalayas or the Andes, in the US, in the heart of the Babylon, in this community kind of neighborhood street where we're just living in a different dimension than the neighbors around. It was amazing how we were able to pull off what we did, in the belly of the beast. After many years, it was 2010, my teacher came direct to me and said, well, you've come to a certain place in your training, and now you got to go back to Panama. And I mean, that was a major record skip for me right there, because I had a lot going on in my life. I had a lot going on that I already organized in order to be set for this vision, that I thought was the one for me, you know, the one that I preferred, the one that I liked, which is never the one that's really true for us, right? So, you know, it was a 90-degree turn from everything that I was looking forward to come back to my birth country. And I've been here ever since. It's coming to be 9 years pretty soon. And it has been a phenomenal journey, not only to be in a country that is so beautiful and, you know, we don't have many of the assaults that they do in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Our skies are pretty clear. You know, the air that we breathe is pretty clean. You can live simple here. I'm without shoes probably 90% of the time. So other than Panama being an amazing place that still has a lot of real nature, to be here aligned in the path and the purpose that the mother has set me in is just something else. The experiences that have happened to me and the way that this unfolding journey is carried through to this point is obviously something beyond myself. And I know you understand that because you're holding a big energy and you recognize it's something beyond you.
Mm-hmm.
So I try my best to use this simple life here in order to break down and to dissolve a lot of the personal stuff, the things that would be inside of me that would interfere with what the mother's doing and what this mission is that has me in Panama.